Welcome into the crossover where open mic meets in the zone. We are like the Grand Funk Railroad of sports talk radio. Super band, Mike.
We're an American band. We're coming to your land. We're gonna help you party down. You don't even know that song. You don't
Was
even
that
know
Grand Funk Railroad? I
That was
honestly
Grand-
couldn't tell you.
That was Grand Funk Railroad. Yeah.
It sounded like Kiss. Mike, I would like to get us started here because I don't want you to snake a Jaguars question from me. Have the Jaguars risen to the top of the list of the most poorly run franchise in the NFL, bar none, after this Trent Baalke mess?
Well, I think they might have already been before this Trent Baalke mess. I mean, but this takes it to a new level, as I've been saying, and I'm a Jaguars fan, all right? I've been covering the Jaguars since their inaugural season in the 90s when they were an expansion franchise, when they were actually a well-run organization back then. But when you screw up, they're the only team in any league that could screw up firing their GM. They should have fired Trent Baalke weeks ago when they fired Doug Peterson. Shad Khan decided not to do it for whatever reason, and now it's cost the Jaguars at least the chance to hire some really good potential coaching candidates like Ben Johnson, Liam Cohen, the Buccaneers offensive coordinator. Go down the list, all right? So, yeah, since Shad Khan took over the Bucs, he has the lowest winning since Shad Khan took over the Jaguars. He has the lowest winning percentage of any owner who's owned his team for the length of time that Shad Khan has owned the team. The lowest winning percentage since Hugh Culverhouse, who owned the Bucs when they were an expansion franchise and they lost their first 26 games. So that's how bad the Jaguars have been under Shad Khan's leadership. So I would say, yes, they're the worst run organization in not only the NFL, in professional sports.
Yes, and it feels like when and the Cowboys brand is so big, I think sometimes that can mask how bad of an owner Jerry Jones is. But when you make that operation look functional, you know that you're not running things right. I just had to look this up while you were talking about it because honestly, I didn't know the answer to it. Wayne Weaver was the owner before Shad Khan. I'm assuming then. Because out of the gates, the Jaguars were pretty buttoned up and had it together out of when they started in '95. That was he was considered a good owner. I know you were close to the team.
Yeah, he was considered a really good owner. Yeah.
Huh. All right.
All right. Let's stay with the Jaguars here real quick, and with a Bucs twist here. Liam Cohen, the offensive coordinator of the Buccaneers, he pulls his name out of contention for the Jaguars job. In fact, turned down a second interview, signs a new contract with the Bucs as the offensive coordinator. There's been some discussion or debate. Do you think he turned down the chance to at least interview again to become the Jaguars head coach because of the now fired GM Trent Baalke or because of Trevor Lawrence?
No, I think it's because of Trent Baalke. I still think Trevor Lawrence has enough glow on him where an offensive coordinator that's looking for that first opening, that first job opportunity as a head coach in the NFL would look and say, I can fix him. Are we really at the point where we've decided that no doubt whatsoever Trevor Lawrence is basically Daniel Jones? I don't think we've reached that point yet. We're close. We're a lot closer with him than you would be to a Caleb Williams who's only 1 year into the NFL.
I'll take it a step further, Kravitz. I'm going to go back to a guy you thought was going to be a star. I'm reaching the point where I think Trevor Lawrence is the next Blaine Gabbert, okay?
Oh, my God. Well, first of all, Blaine Gabbert never got a real opportunity, so I'm not even sure that take was wrong, you know?
One of the many quarterbacks the Jaguars have ruined. Hello?
Never really got an opportunity to be the guy, but this isn't a Blaine Gabbert question. This is a Trevor Lawrence question. I still think that there's enough intrigue around him as a talent. It's not that Trevor Lawrence has been awful. It's just that he hasn't been nearly as good as we expected him to be. He's still a top 20 quarterback in the NFL.
Okay.
Which you expected him to be top 10 at this point in his career, maybe even top 5, which is where it's disappointing. But this is still a young quarterback that hasn't been the worst. And I think that an offensive coordinator would want to work with them. Now, this might turn out to be a blessing in disguise because I think there's an offensive coordinator that would make a really good head coach that's been on an upward trajectory ever since we started paying attention to the guy back at LSU. How about Joe Brady, the OC for the Buffalo Bills? He's young, 35.
Yeah.
He turned around a Bills offense that lost Stephon Diggs. I think this could be the guy that fixes Trevor Lawrence, finally.
By the way, glowing endorsement from you on Trevor Lawrence. He's a young quarterback who's not the worst.
Not. That's all I got. That's the best I can offer. Trevor Lawrence, do you think Trevor Lawrence is a bad quarterback? I don't look at him as a bad
No,
QB.
I think he's just a guy.
Like, it's not his fault that we all decided he was the second coming, and then it's also not his fault that Trent Baalke decided to give him a contract like he was Patrick Mahomes.
I think Trevor Lawrence would be a fine backup quarterback in the
Oh
NFL.
my God, no, he's better than that.
That's what I think.
Oh, we've gone way too far against Trevor Lawrence. He's still all right. He's still all right. All right. Where did you end up landing, by the way? My second question involves college football and these ratings that weren't bad, but they were down from a year ago. Perhaps a surprise given the brands involved in Ohio State and Notre Dame. Where did you land in terms of the reason why we saw a drop in overall ratings for the national championship? Scheduling, fatigue, inauguration. What do you think was the chief reason among them?
Well, as Mark Daniels points out, college football TV ratings during the regular season were awesome. They were really good. SEC, Big Ten ratings were up this year. So obviously something went awry in the college football playoff. I just think it has stretched on. When you stretch into the divisional round of the NFL playoffs, you're going to be overshadowed. There was no buildup to the college football national championship game because everybody was talking about the NFL games that week. I think the inauguration may have had something to do with it on Monday, but I just think the season has stretched too deep into the NFL playoffs, and we know the NFL is the king of not only all sports, but the king of TV entertainment in this country. When you stretch in deep into the NFL playoffs, you're going to lose, and I think that's what happened.
I'm going to say something really crazy right now, especially for guys like us, and maybe we don't really fit into this bucket, but just thinking about the sports fan nation at large, I think we have too many football games now across sports, across the NFL and college football. It's no longer unique for there to be a game on any given night this time of year. It's actually more unique for there not to be a game on. And I think we're reaching a point of oversaturation. The NFL is partly to blame for this. College football now, partly to blame for this. Both have expanded their products. They're showing us more games than ever before. And we shouldn't be surprised that a few million people around the country that aren't the biggest football fans, because the biggest are going to watch no matter what you put on and when you put it on, that a few million people go, I got my football fix this week. I'm good. And I think we've oversaturated it. Not we, I didn't do anything, but I think the college football world and the NFL, they've just put too many games on TV.
Yeah. The allure of football used to be less is more, and now we're getting more is more.
It's like baseball. I mean, really, it's kind of crazy.
All right, final one for you. Let's stick with football. All right. Let's stick with football. I said this earlier in the week, and maybe I'm being a prisoner of the moment. But I said, if I had to start an NFL franchise from scratch and I had my pick of any existing quarterback to start my franchise with, I'd pick Jayden Daniels because of his youth, obviously, because of his poise, because of his ability to not only throw the ball in clutch situations, but also run the ball in clutch situations. Am I a prisoner of the moment with that take?
Oh, absolutely you are. Okay. I don't think you're far off. Yeah, after the weekend that he had last weekend, I said my takeaway was not quite as scorching as yours. I think the list of quarterbacks that I would take over Jayden Daniels right now, if you gave me them for the next several years, that list is really, really short. I probably can't get past 3 guys, but you have him zoomed to the top of the list. Somehow you have managed to take my hot take and put it on the stove for another several minutes. No, I'm not taking him over Patrick Mahomes, who's still, by the way, not in his 30s yet and has multiple Super Bowls and has only been to the conference title game, 7 times in a row. No, thank you. Josh Allen. Joe Burrow, you can talk to me about Burrow. I think Burrow's a better quarterback right now.
What about Lamar Jackson?
The injury history. No, I would actually, right now, if we were having this fantasy / real life draft, I would take Jayden Daniels over Lamar Jackson. Similar running ability, similar enough as far as picking up crucial first downs on 3rd and shorts and keeping the defense on skates. But he's a better passer than Lamar Jackson is, and he's already done something that Lamar has never done in his career, which is win back-to-back playoff games. I would take him 4th. I would still take Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and Joe Burrow over Jayden.
Well, he
Daniels.
also, unlike Lamar Jackson, he also doesn't have a tight end that drops game-winning or game-tying 2-point conversion.
That doesn't help, but, I don't know, Lamar. Hang on to the football, then you don't need to worry about these problems. The crossover is over.